straight to Chelsea then and their search for a forward. Right, Mark, what's happening with Anthony Gordon?
This is a developing story, and he's been one of those players that's been courting interest from a number of Premier League sides throughout the course of this summer. Newcastle, Tottenham at the beginning of the window, and most recently, Chelsea. Now, like I say, developing because we've been seeing some information come out this morning, actually, regards to Chelsea's interest. There were reports over the course of the weekend that a £40 million bid had been lodged by Chelsea to Everton for his services. However, our understanding is there was no official bid. At this stage, it's just interest from Chelsea. Everton's stance is very simple. He's not for sale, and Frank Lampard sees him as a huge part of what they're looking to do this season. A player that's been at the club for a number of years, made his debut back in 2017, and has so much potential and promise. You speak to anyone that knows the sort of game, any scouts that I've spoken to, they all speak very highly of Anthony Gordon and his potential, so you can understand exactly why Frank Lampard would want to build a side around him, particularly when they're struggling in those attacking options. He is going to be a key part of his squad this season.
From the Chelsea side of things then, Sam, did this interest surprise you?
Yeah, I think it did. Obviously, we know last season was his breakout season. You know, he played 62 games for Everton. He was probably one of their standout performers as well. But at the same time, I think knowing what Chelsea need in terms of output going forward, we're going to go on to that soon, but we've seen that the strikers and their forwards haven't really scored as many goals as you'd expect them. Tuchel has spoken about it as well. You can see his emotions when their strikers or wingers aren't able to score goals. So for him to have, 4 goals and 8 assists last season, even though we know that that's not all his game, he's one of those forwards that, he's a modern day wide man. He constantly works. He's in the heart of everything that Everton are doing. But at the same time, I think if you're looking at Chelsea and what they need, I don't think he is that profile right now.
It's a strange one, isn't it? Because it obviously sort of burst onto the scene last season, became a bit of a fan favourite. Of course, it always helps when you're a boyhood Everton fan anyway. He's an Evertonian, isn't he? But he kind of cemented his place in that first team and arguably played a really key role in actually ultimately keeping them in the Premier League as well. He had some big moments. There was a winner against Manchester United. I know it was deflected in the end, but he had those big moments, and it seems like he's been given more and more responsibility really under Frank Lampard. Here a little look at his stats. This is in the Premier League, his Everton record as a whole: 51 games, 4 goals, 3 assists. Is it odd that Chelsea were, reportedly willing to part with such a fee for him, for a player who, you look at it there, he hasn't played loads. He's had one consistent season of Premier League football. But we've heard Thomas Tuchel talk before about Chelsea being an ageing squad in a way. He wants to, invest long-term in that squad. So I suppose he fits in to that element of the Chelsea kind of point of view. But look, I'm a big fan of the player, but from the Everton point of view, they have been unequivocal saying that, look, he's not for sale, especially even when they had interest from the likes of Spurs and from the likes of Newcastle. This is, if it is £40 million, this is a much higher bid, isn't it? And, Everton, arguably, they need money. You just wonder if their hand will be forced if the fee is something around that.
He's 21 years old as well. He's a young player. Imagine Anthony Gordon going into that Chelsea dressing room and learning off someone like Raheem Sterling. How much could he improve by the time he got to Raheem Sterling's age at 27? I think that's the key thing.
Should he be in a rush to leave now, though? Like you say, he's only 21. His trajectory, when you look at it, he's only going to get better and better. Is it a case of waiting down the line for one of these big money?
I think if he waits, that could be a sensible thing. You're spot on with what you say there. There's no question he's going to be a key player for Everton this season, and game time at this age and at this stage in his career is key.
What I can say about him, especially against Chelsea last season in the 1-1 draw, he was really important for them. He got the assist for their goal as well. The game that they did win at the back end of last season, he was important for that win. And even last week, you could see him playing in a role that he's not normally used to, playing as their striker. And he was really dynamic. He was causing a lot of problems, getting forward, pressing the defenders. And that's probably something that Tuchel saw and really loved.
Yeah, I mean, the player from his point of view certainly hasn't been, itching for a move or anything like that, hasn't been agitating for a move. So we know the Chelsea side of things there, and we're talking about both sides. So get in touch, #TransferTalk. Chelsea fans, what do you think of this potential signing? Everton fans, what do you think as well? And Emma, let's say it does go through. For whatever the fee is, let's say that Anthony Gordon does go. We know it would be a lot of money. How might Everton want to spend that?
Well, look, we already know that they need a striker. So, will they need 2 strikers? You know, we've been talking all window about their need for a striker. The fact that, of course, they've lost Richarlison, who was a source of goals for Everton. He's gone to Tottenham. And then the fact that Dominic Calvert-Lewin is out with an injury at the moment as well. We understand that, you know, if there was a deal, there have been reports that it could be a kind of a player deal with Chelsea, because we know that Everton have been interested in Armando Broja. There is also Conor Gallagher there. Of course, he did come on for Chelsea yesterday, didn't he? But only for the last sort of 5-6 minutes. And also Michy Batshuayi as well. So could there be some sort of deal struck with Chelsea if Anthony Gordon was to go the other way? We know that Everton are still hopeful of getting Idrissa Gueye in, and also they've been really heavily linked to Morgan Gibbs-White as well, haven't they?
Okay, so if that money could be helpful, but Everton are not keen to sell him at all.